What's good, everybody? I'm Mista Jax, and this is Set the Bar Media. And on Ahead of the Curve, we don't wait for the industry to tell us what moments mean. We look at the move before the move becomes the narrative. And right now, the move is Jaÿ-Z. Not new Jaÿ-Z, not a new album, not a new body of work, not a run of verses, old work, new packaging, new attention, new money.
That's what people need to catch, because the industry is about to present this like it's simply a celebration of Reasonable Doubt turning 30. And part of it is a celebration, but that's not all it is. This is a rollout. This is a campaign. This is catalog being turned into event culture. This is nostalgia being treated like new product. And this is old work being asked to perform like new work. That is the hustle. And Jaÿ-Z has always understood the hustle. The money isn't only in the music. The money is in the story around the music. The money is in how the work gets remembered. The money is in when you bring it back. And the money is in making people feel like they missed something the first time, so now they have to pay attention the second time.
Now let me say this clearly before people start acting like they didn't hear me. This is not a Jaÿ-Z hate piece. Jaÿ-Z is one of the most important figures hip-hop has ever produced. He's one of the sharpest business minds the culture has ever seen. And Reasonable Doubt is an important album. Important doesn't mean untouchable. Respect doesn't mean worship. A classic album doesn't mean let the machine rewrite history without checking the work.
Because the way Reasonable Doubt is talked about now, people act like that album dropped in 1996 and the whole culture stopped. That's not what happened. Reasonable Doubt sold around 43,000 copies in its first week. 43,000. That isn't a failure, but that isn't a cultural earthquake either. Now put that next to what was really moving around that era. Tupac's All Eyes on Me moved 566,000 in its first week. Nas's It Was Written moved around 270,000 in its first week. Biggie's Life After Death moved around 690,000 in its first week. So when people talk like Reasonable Doubt arrived as this untouchable monument on day one, the numbers do not tell that story. The album was respected, it was sharp, it had writing, it had polish, it had luxury street rap, it had the hustler language Jaÿ-Z would build his identity around. But it wasn't the biggest thing moving in rap. It wasn't the album everybody stopped for. It wasn't the project that instantly made Jaÿ-Z the God MC. That came later. The mythology came later. The museum treatment came later. The you had to be there tone came later. And now, 30 years later, that same work is being brought back with better packaging, bigger ceremony, and a stronger business model.
This is the real conversation. Not whether Jaÿ-Z is great, he is. Not whether Reasonable Doubt matters, it does. The question is this: what happens when old work gets repackaged so well that people start treating the packaging like proof?
Because this is where the game gets slippery. A vinyl reissue can make something feel more important. A pop-up can make something feel more historic. A documentary can make something feel deeper. A collector's item can make something feel rare. An anniversary show can make something feel untouchable. Legacy press can make something feel undeniable. But none of that automatically changes what the work was when it first hit the culture. That's the difference. The rollout is doing work too. The rollout is telling you how to feel. The rollout is telling you what to remember. The rollout is telling you what the album meant. And if you're not careful, the rollout will make you confuse marketing with history. That's what Set the Bar Media is here to check. Because Jaÿ-Z is not just selling music right now. He's selling the feeling around the music. He's selling the era. He's selling the importance. He's selling the myth. He's selling the idea that this was always the level. And maybe some of it was. But some of it was built later. Some of it was polished later. Some of it became bigger because Jaÿ-Z became bigger. That's not hate. That's how power works. The work didn't change. The machine did. The album didn't suddenly become different. The power around the album became different. Jaÿ-Z is bigger now. The brand is stronger now. The access is different now. The media machine is louder now. The legacy is more protected now. So when Reasonable Doubt comes back today, it is not coming back as just an album. It's coming back attached to a billionaire. It's coming back attached to Rock Nation. It's coming back attached to documentaries. It's coming back attached to anniversary events. It's coming back attached to collector items. It's coming back attached to a full legacy machine. And when the machine is that powerful, It can make the past feel bigger than it felt in real time. Again, that doesn't mean the album is bad. That doesn't mean Jaÿ-Z didn't earn respect. It means we have to separate the work from the rollout. Because once the name becomes bigger than the work, the standard gets blurry. People stop asking, is this as great as they say? They start asking, am I even allowed to question it? And that's dangerous for hip-hop. Because hip-hop wasn't built on untouchable people. Hip-hop was built on testing the bar. The MC got tested. The album got tested. The verse got tested. The claim got tested. Nobody was supposed to be above the standard. Not even Jaÿ-Z. Especially not Jaÿ-Z.
And this is where people get uncomfortable because Jaÿ-Z wasn't always the only heat in the room. And not disrespect, that's reality. There were moments when other artists had more heat. There were moments when other artists and people around him felt younger, louder, hungrier, and even more immediate. Even inside Rockefeller, Jaÿ-Z wasn't always the only energy in the building. Beanie Sigel had moments where the hunger felt different. Freeway had urgency. State Property had street momentum. Cameron Dipset had the culture moving. Those artists mattered. That energy mattered. But over time, a lot of history gets remembered through Jaÿ-Z's empire. And that's why opportunity matters. Placement matters. Control matters. Who gets pushed matters. Who gets protected matters. Who gets the machine matters. Who gets remembered as part of someone else's story matters. It's not gossip. It's not throwing dirt on Jay. This is the business side of legacy. And Jaÿ-Z understands the business side of legacy better than almost anybody.
He knows how to make packaging feel like importance. He knows how to make ownership feel like artistry. He knows how to make a rollout feel like a natural celebration. He knows how to make old work feel urgent again. And in this current rap climate, that move becomes even easier. Because a lot of music moves fast and disappears faster. A lot of artists have visibility, but not weight. A lot of artists have streams, but not impact. A lot of artists have moments, but not bodies of work. So when a legacy artist comes back with polish, catalog, history, branding, billionaire aura, and a full media machine behind him, of course it feels heavier. Of course it feels more important. Of course people treat it like the bar just walked back into the room. But is the work shining because it changed, or is it shining because the room got dimmer? That is the question, because nostalgia can trick you. Nostalgia doesn't just remind you of what happened. Sometimes it upgrades what happened. It can make a respected album feel untouchable. It can make a smart campaign feel like evidence. It can make a business move feel like destiny. And it can make people defend the packaging harder than they discuss the work. That's what we can't feed into blindly.
Reasonable doubt can be important without pretending it shook the world on day one. Jaÿ-Z can be great without pretending he was always the hottest. The rollout can be impressive without pretending it was only about the music. And old work can be valuable without letting nostalgia raise the price on our memories. That's the whole point. Jaÿ-Z doesn't need blind praise. He had enough of that. What the culture needs is clear eyes. Because right now, Jaÿ-Z isn't bringing back just an album. He's bringing back the feeling around the album. He's bringing back the era. He's bringing back the myth. He's bringing back the conversation. And he's turning it all into new value. Old work, new packaging, new money, same machine. So the question is simple. Are we watching history, or are we watching history get repackaged for resale?
Because the work didn't change, the machine did. And around here, we respect greatness, but we don't worship marketing. We respect the work, but we check the myth. That's the difference between being a fan and having standards. A fan claps because a name is attached. A hater dismisses because the name is attached. Set the Bar Media does neither. We look at the work, we look at the move, we look at the machine, and we ask the question everybody else is avoiding. That is, ahead of the curve. And this is Set the Bar Media. We don't follow the hype, we set the standard.